Hello, welcome. We're glad you could join us. Today, we're looking at a disciplined method for analytical thinking,
That's right. It's called the bow tie analysis.
and it helps us think through cases and events so we can take what we already know and explore new learning, new findings.
It does.
The name of this method hints at the structure. It starts broad, narrows down in the middle, and then opens back up again, just like a bow tie.
Exactly. We gather background information first.
We start with what we know.
Then we focus on a specific event or case. And finally, we broaden out again to figure out how to apply what we learn in a broader organizational context or to our personal learning.
So that structure is important, correct?
It absolutely is. It forces a certain rigor, and it promotes an important principle.
What's that?
The final analysis must produce an outcome that's different from where you started. What we learn has to be different from what we already know.
Different. How?
Well, if you go through the whole process and your recommended actions, just confirm what everyone already thought or knew beforehand.
Then you haven't really learned anything new.
Precisely. It didn't create new value. The result has to be distinct from the starting point.
I can see how that's a challenge, because if you start by looking at everything you already know, it seems like it would be easy to just confirm your own biases, and the result being no new learning.
That's a real risk, and that's where the structure is so useful. There are 3 stages of analysis: background, the case itself, and then forward analysis, looking ahead to actions.
Yes, and that narrowing process. Moving from the broad background to the facts of a specific case or event acts like a filter. It forces general knowledge, all the things we already know, to come together with the undeniable facts of a specific situation.
So, the facts of the case or event should prevent us from ending our analysis with just the background information. The case or event pushes us to consider what we already know from a new or different perspective.
That's the idea. We use the case or event to improve our understanding of what we already know.
Okay? Let's walk through stage 1, the left side of the bow tie. That's the background setting, the context. It's what we already know or should know.
Yes,
So, inputs here might be things like existing policies, relevant laws, maybe past data or statistics.
all of that, which includes general knowledge and other specific things. Though we list out some examples here, almost anything can be gathered.
Things like previous audit findings, maybe regulatory information, experiences, observations about actions and behaviors. All of this is what we can consider as part of what we already know. And the analysis part here is sorting through all that information, because there is a lot of information in this stage, but not all of it important or critical.
Correct. We need to identify what's most relevant. You need to frame the key issues in order to assess the specific event. It requires some discipline to avoid getting swamped by too much data, and most importantly, not to be distracted by irrelevant information.
I can imagine. Okay, so once you've got that relevant background narrowed down, which is a function of setting priorities, then you go to stage 2, the central point, the knot of the bow tie, which is the case or the event itself.
Exactly. This demands a factual review. What happened? Who was involved? What actions were taken? We are interested in the facts, not personal opinions.
So, the analysis here is about interpreting those specific facts, identifying findings that are unique to this instance. Or if we are looking at an appeal or a court case, for example, we are looking at the facts of the event and the facts of the court's review.
Yes, it's where the general understanding from stage 1 connects with the reality of this specific event. You're looking for findings from the case, determining what happened and why.
Okay, stage 1 is background. Stage 2 isolates the specific findings from the event. Then we move to stage 3, the right side of the graphic. Again, that's the forward-looking part. This is where you generate options, set priorities, and decide on actions.
And this is where the newness comes in. Meaning, what did we learn? making sure the actions aren't just repeating what we knew in stage 1. We must know more in stage 3.
That's a critical point.
Stage 3 translates the specific findings from stage 2 into practical next steps. Steps that should be distinct from what you knew or did before the analysis.
Can we use an example so we can see how this works?
Sure. Let's analyze an example scenario. An employee files a harassment complaint. Then, maybe shortly after that, they get a poor performance review from their supervisor and are reassigned.
Okay, then what?
If you just look at company policy in stage 1, it prohibits harassment and requires the performance evaluation to be done fairly. If you look at the case facts in stage 2, you see this sequence. First, a complaint, followed by a poor review, which is then followed by reassignment.
Right? That sequence could be a problem.
Exactly. The bow tie analysis lets us see more than what we knew in stage 1. In stage 3, we can see something new that wasn't obvious just from company policies.
The sequence of management actions creates a significant risk of a retaliation claim, even if the performance review is justified on its own merits.
So the timing, the proximity of the events, that's the key finding emerging from the analysis.
Well, that's the specific learning from connecting the background to the case facts, and it informs management that something should be considered.
Which would be?
Well, the organization should probably review its process for evaluation timing when there's an active complaint, and maybe provide specific supervisor instruction on anti-retaliation standards focusing on that risk sequence.
We can see in the context of this scenario, there wasn't an explicit policy or management standards about the facts of this situation.
It emerged directly from analyzing the case facts compared to the background. Meaning, what do we know now compared to what we knew before?
Precisely. That's how the bow tie model helps us. It ensures that we go from facts to interpretation to application. When used properly, it leads to new learning or different actions.
It connects the dots in a disciplined way. But we have to understand that this scenario does not give us all the facts that would exist in real life.
As you noted, in real life, there would be more complexity. It might take a few days for the full bow tie analysis to be completed. But the important takeaway is that the 3 stages of the bow tie analysis are structured, so we apply what we know to a specific event or case from which we can derive new learning.
So, for everyone listening, think about a recent event or decision your team dealt with. Try applying this 3-stage critical thinking model. Start with what you know. Gather the facts of the case or event. Determine the findings, and then identify new learning, which you use in some practical way.
See what emerges. You might be surprised at the new recommendations or actions you identify for yourself and your organization.
It's a powerful way for our analysis to result in learning that leads to purposeful change. Thank you for taking time to check out this video. All the best using the bow tie analysis model.